I remember the first thing I've ever learned to cook was eggs. My brother, he didn't want to be late to school. And he was like, Zuri, can you just move them around in the pan? So I'm scared because I've never dealt with a hot pan before, and I'm really short. I'm small. Like, I'm probably the same height as the stove.
Yeah. Shut the cap.
I've seen people talk to her every day and don't know who she is. And then they say, well, who's the young lady that helped me? And I'll say, you mean the owner? And he was like, that's the owner? Yeah. I said, she's young, right? I said, she's driven though, so.
As a child, I always wanted to be like my dad. My dad is, he's a businessman. I wanted to be a businesswoman. I would say my creativity definitely comes from my mom. My mom is very, very, very creative. She's an artist at heart. I first was going to North Carolina Central for hospitality and tourism. I found a love for food when I was in class, and so one of my teachers was telling me, you should go to culinary school. And I got into Johnson & Wales, so I'm like, well, dang, they're one of the best schools. So my dad was like, well, you always talked about having your own restaurant. So I wrote a business plan, and the rest is history. Nzinga is actually a queen from Angola. So my dad is the only person who really calls me Nzinga. But I named the restaurant Nzinga's because it's kind of a reminder to me that I have so much to live up to. Because if you look her up, she's a powerful lady in history. She did a lot for her people. I know when I was younger, I used to beat myself up so much. I would be so afraid to try things. Like, I always wanted to try out for the theater. And I tell my dad, like, yeah, I'm going to try out for this role. Wouldn't even do it. I'll catch the bus home. Because I would make decisions out of fear. But fear gets you nowhere.
Everything isn't basically on just a basis of owning things, but treating people right will go a long way too. You have people that have different jobs in the world, but if you own something and you don't treat people right, it's not going to equal to anything. But she owns something of her own, and she treats people right.
When I first started in Nzinga's, I was a server, and over time, me and Zuri kind of got close, and she was like, you want to learn how to cook? And I'm like, sure, because that's like one of my favorite hobbies. So she just taught me, and it just came natural. And after that,
It's like a family feel. When you come in the door, her staff knows what you usually order before you even tell them. They're telling you, like, so today, chicken and waffles? Sure, why not?
This is my first time here. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, so I will be back.
I like to bring new people to the local neighborhood restaurant when I get a chance, so they can feel some of this ambiance that I feel.
One of the biggest issues in our community is literacy. And so it stems from, if the parents can't read, they won't teach their children to read. We have a lot of community meetings here. One meeting we have is with the Durham Business and Professional Chain. We talk about the youth and what we could do to help. Is X amount of problems that we have, what resources could be used to solve these problems? One thing me and my brother have done is we started a book drive. So when people come in, they can give books. But if you want to read, also, you could take a book. We don't ask any questions, just pick one out of the pile. One thing I would say that we're definitely dealing with now is gentrification. It's making the taxes go up. With the taxes going up, a lot of small business owners are wondering, like, am I going to be able to afford to stay in my community that I've lived in my whole life? Am I going to be able to actually purchase a home in the community that I've lived in my whole life? I want to try to impact my community as much as I can. I think that's what we're here for, each one teach one. And so I try to do things every year, something different, to make sure that people know that I'm not just here to take money. I'm really here to be a part of the community.